Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our riding of Mississauga Streetsville. I'd like to start by acknowledging that the lands which constitute the present city of Mississauga are part of the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Huron-Wendat, and the Wyandot Nations. We recognize these peoples and their ancestors as peoples who inhabited these lands since time immemorial. It is my pleasure to welcome you all here today, and I'd like to thank the team at Armour Transportation Systems for hosting us for this exciting announcement. Before I pass it on to the Minister, I'd like to share a few words about our government's actions on building a more affordable and sustainable future. Whether it's through deploying clean energy, eliminating single-use plastics, conserving our lands and waters, or putting a price on pollution, our government is taking action on fighting climate change while building a more prosperous future for our kids. We built on this foundation in last month's fall economic statement, where we announced a clean technology investment tax credit up to 30% of capital costs. And for the first time in Canada, we're linking this to labor conditions. Those firms who provide fair wages and dignified conditions will be able to access 10% more. That's why we also announced the creation of a Sustainable Jobs Training Center to bring together employers, workers, and institutions to help more than 15,000 workers to gain the skills needed to thrive in a clean economy. This is on top of investments to help create over 20,000 more union-based apprenticeships. We know workers are the center of the economy of the future. And unlike some governments, we want workers at the table, helping to solve our biggest issues like competitiveness. Whether they're people building our cars at the new EV assembly plants going up in Windsor and in Brampton, or the truckers that are driving us along this road to a more sustainable and bright future. We also know that supporting workers means supporting working families. And at a time where we are facing global inflation, we are stepping up. In the fall economic statement, we doubled the GST credit for over 11 million families from coast to coast, and are rolling out rental and dental assistance to working families. In fact, the Prime Minister was in London just yesterday, highlighting the importance of these investments to families. This is how we are investing in a fair and just transition to a net zero economy in Mississauga and across the country, a transition that leaves absolutely no one behind. And on that note of investing in a brighter future, I'd like to introduce my friend and fellow MP from Mississauga Centre, the Honourable Omar Alghabrah, Canada's Minister of Transportation.
Thank you very much, Richie. Good morning. I'm trying to fix this mic in a way that I can use the mic binder, and you guys can still hear me. Good morning. It's great to be back in Mississauga with my friend and colleague, Richie Valdez. Richie, thank you very much for that introduction and for your leadership and strong advocacy on behalf of the people of Mississauga and all Canadians. And before I start, I also want to say how grateful I am to Armour Transportation for hosting us here, how grateful I am to the people who are standing behind us. You know, most of us don't spend a lot of time thinking about how goods got to our grocery store shelves, or our kitchen table. And we hear a lot about supply chains. These are the faces of supply chains that are standing behind us, who work day in and day out, making sure that Canadians got their goods that they needed and that businesses had their products transported to where they needed them to go. So I'm really, really grateful to all of you for your hard work. Our government has an ambitious climate plan aimed at creating a stronger economy and more sustainable jobs. And we are taking strong steps to meet our climate commitment and get Canada to net zero emission within the next 3 decades. Transportation is a key focus of our plan, and it has to be, because how we move people and goods within our communities and across our country accounts for 25% of our emissions. That's why Canada has set an ambitious target for zero emission vehicle sales. By 2035, all new passenger vehicles sold in Canada will be zero emission. And by 2040, our goal is to reach the same for medium and heavy duty vehicles, such as large pickup trucks, delivery vans, buses, and long-haul freight trucks. Achieving these sales targets is essential to reaching net zero emissions in Canada. Not only that, but reducing pollution in the transportation sector comes with added benefits: cleaner air to breathe, quieter streets to enjoy, and opportunities for businesses to save money and increase their competitiveness. Since 2016, Canada has invested over $1 billion to make electric vehicles more affordable and chargers more accessible for Canadians. These investments are supporting the establishment of a coast-to-coast network of chargers in local areas where Canadians live, work, and play, while federal rebates of up to $5,000 are helping more Canadians make the switch to electric vehicles. To date, over 150,000 Canadians and Canadian businesses have taken advantage of the federal incentive to purchase a zero-emission vehicle. There's momentum. We're making good progress on passenger vehicles. We're also seeing zero-emission alternatives for medium and heavy-duty vehicles becoming more widely available. Right now, there are 2.6 million of these vehicles in operation, and many of them remain on the road for 15 years or longer. Replacing them will take time. That's why we're taking concrete steps to reduce pollution in the fleets of today while supporting electrification for tomorrow. Just this summer, I launched the Incentives for Medium and Heavy-Duty Zero-Emission Vehicles program. Backed by an investment of nearly $550 million, this program is helping Canadian businesses and communities across the country to buy or lease one of these vehicles. And today, I'm pleased to announce 2 new upcoming calls for proposals. First, through the Green Freight Program, the government will invest nearly $200 million to help fleets save on cost while also safeguarding the environment. Successful applicants could receive up to $250,000 to assess and retrofit truck equipment, which will help improve energy efficiency and reduce both fuel costs and emissions. And I'll pause here for a second to talk about the initiatives that Armour Transportation has been doing. It was explained to me by Dennis how there are several initiatives that they're doing here to ensure that the consumptions of fuel of their own trucks is much more efficient, cutting on emissions. The second call for proposals will launch a new medium and heavy-duty stream under the Zero Emission Vehicle Awareness Initiative. We know that one of the barriers to zero-emission vehicle adoption among fleet operators is a lack of confidence and hands-on experience. So the government will provide funding for outreach, education, and capacity-building projects to advance knowledge, awareness, and confidence in medium and heavy-duty zero-emission or low-emission vehicles. Governments, nonprofits, and Indigenous organizations or communities could receive up to $300,000 per project, and industry-led projects could receive up to $200,000. Both calls for proposals will be open to applicants on December 12th on Natural Resources Canada's website. Through investments like these, we're supporting businesses and organizations across the country to save on fuel costs and transition to the fleet of the future. Together, we're building a more sustainable, affordable, and prosperous Canada. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you so much, Minister. I'm really particularly excited about this announcement as an electric vehicle driver myself. And I would just like to pause now and hand this over to Nadine, who will take some questions from the media.
Yes, so we'll now begin with the question and answer period. It'll be one question, one follow-up per reporter. There's no mic, so if you have any questions, just feel free to direct it at that. Brian, we'll take that as one question. So that's the end of the question and answer period. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining, and it's really exciting for this important day. Thank you all for joining us.